7 p.m. I'd like to call the Brimfield Township Board of Trustees meeting to order. Roll call for attendance, please.
Kevin?
Here.
Sue?
Here.
Nick?
Here.
Quorum met.
All right. If everybody could please stand for Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. Pastor.
Father, we thank you so much that we could come together and for everybody in this room. Lord, we thank you for our community leaders. We pray, Father, Lord, that you would continue to give them wisdom in leading our community. We thank you, Father, Lord, for your hand that's on Brimfield. And we just ask that today, as this proceedings go forward, Lord, that you would just be on us for wisdom. We ask all this in the mighty name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
All right, let's start with announcements and correspondences. Do we have any announcements or correspondences today?
Yeah.
No. All right, we have no scheduled meeting guests today. Meeting minutes, I would entertain a motion to accept the meeting minutes as presented from the 3/16/2026 regular meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All right, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Kevin?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
All right. Meeting's approved.
All right, agenda, I'll entertain a motion to accept the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All right, discussion for changes.
I'd like to add Parks Liaison somewhere on here.
All right, so that would go under new business,
Admin.
admin, new business, board approval, so that would be number 2. All right. We also need under old business, we still have the piece that we're considering for the volunteer parks coordinator,
No, at number 5.
number 5. That just needs to live there till,
I got some here.
okay.
Under the cemetery, we have one new deed to sign, and then I'll be asking for approval of $363 to cover the cost of the flowers for the cemetery on Memorial Day service. This is a tradition that we purchase these flowers from the Boy Scouts Troop 259.
We'll go under new business, under cemetery, so number 1 and number 2.
Yeah.
As we're talking about the agenda, I'd like to make a recommendation that with our executive sessions, that we move those executive sessions from the end of the meeting to before the appropriate department. For example, we have a PD executive session today. Instead of leaving that at the end, we move that to the front end before the police department, so if there's actions, we can discuss it on the floor afterwards, instead of leaving them all to the end of the meeting and doing that with each one moving forward. Does board thoughts?
I agree. Makes sense.
So,
Yeah, I'll second, give you the motion, I'll second.
yeah, it'll be part of the final
Okay.
motion. So we would move the
Move to front
PD
end.
executive session to the front end of the police department before old business. And then fire has one that would move before their old business. And then admin would have 2 executive sessions before old business.
Oh, new fire department didn't have any old business listed.
Correct.
Okay, and then, we've got.
Would there be any other changes from departments? Dave, you good?
I'm good.
Mike, glad you good?
I'm good.
Okay. All right, so we would have an updated agenda with executive session before police department, executive session before fire department, 2 executive sessions before administration. Under old business updates, number 5, volunteer parks director. Under new business, board approval, parks liaison, number 2. And then under cemetery, new business, new deed, and number 2, approval of flowers at cemetery from Troop 259. Is there any other changes? Okay, hearing none, roll call for approval of amended agenda.
Kevin,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick.
Yes.
All right, amended agenda approved.
I'll entertain a motion to accept the purchase orders as presented.
I'll make that motion.
I will second. Any discussion on purchase orders?
No.
Hearing none, roll call for acceptance.
Kevin,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick.
Yes.
All right, purchase orders accepted.
I'll accept a motion to accept warrants as presented.
So
I'll ma-
moved.
Second.
All right, any discussion on the warrants?
No.
All right, hearing none, roll call to accept warrants as presented.
Kevin,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick.
Yes.
All right, warrants approved.
All right, we'll now move into our public comments. We do ask that you please state your name and address before addressing the board, and to complete the public comments sign-up sheet that will be located up here. First up for our public comments today is Shirley Mars. Shirley, floor is yours, 3 minutes.
Shirley Mars, 1943 Old Forge Road. I've served on governing boards over many years, and currently I serve as the Vice President of the Leadership Portage County Board. LPC currently has a fabulous executive director in Andrea Pulaski, who lives here in Brimfield. She has received rave reviews from both participants and from our board. She always shares with us, without fail, that her success is largely due to the support of an engaged board, and that she could not do what she does without a good board, without that support. A couple years ago, I spoke to quite a few park and rec directors from area communities. Without fail, all of them had boards to help create a vision and mission statement, set long and short-term goals, and counsel with the park director about the needs of the community. A good board and a clear mission statement are critical to success. Unfortunately, our Parks and Rec department never had a mission statement. In those two things, if those two things had been in place, I believe that our past director could have had a successful program. For the past 3 years, I have stood at this podium after each dismal year-end report came out and have personally spoken to each trustee advocating for the formation of a Parks and Rec board, and it has been to no avail. I have been told, yes, that sounds like a good idea. I will look into it and get back to you. It was obvious from the questions and issues that were brought up in the last few meetings that no one in the past has done due diligence or made an honest effort to explore how to even form a board. It is not that difficult. It is frustrating to stand here again to tell you how important a board is to the success of the Parks and Recreation program. Our son has given you an offer that included forming a Parks board, along actually with an offer for his services for free or for very minimal, whatever it takes. Most anyone in their right mind would have jumped at that offer, even though he is uniquely qualified and highly recommended by the head of the Portage Parks District, whom he works for, under the guise of due diligence. Acting on it has been put off for over 2 months. My dad used to say, either crap or get off the pot, only he used spicier language. But I think you get the point. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your comments. All right, any other public comments today? All right, hearing none, we'll move into safety concerns. Any safety concerns that the board needs to be made aware of?
Yeah, Dave, Malloy Road, just northwest of Burnett, there's a culvert. It's, the berm is only about 1 foot wide, and then there's about an 8-foot hole. Somebody says that's, a car, it's off the edge of the road there. It's not gonna be pretty. Is there anything we can do about that?
Or I can look into,
You know where I'm talking about?
yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I mean, it's been that way for years.
But there's no safety signs, there's no
We
warning
could- I mean, we
signs.
could stick a sign up, or if the board wants, we can move forward, put up a guardrail. I mean, but I'd have to get everything engineered through the engineer.
Okay.
So, I mean, we could put a sign up for,
Well, it needs at least a sign, I would think.
yeah, okay.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, any other safety concerns? If not, we're gonna move into police department. We do have an executive session at the beginning of the police department here. So I would like to make a motion to convene into executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, section 121.22G, for the purposes of considering the following matters. This is going to be under compensation of a public employee or official. I need a second, please.
I'll second.
All right, roll call?
Kevin,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick.
Yes.
All right, executive session approved.
All right, we'll convene into executive session at 7:10 PM. This will be for Board of Trustees, fiscal officer, police chief, and police captain. All right, we are back from executive session at 7:27 PM. All right, after executive session, we do have a current vacancy that will be taking place on April 20th, 2026, which is our police chief position. Our chief has accepted our township administrator position to take effect on April 20th at our last meeting, and we had appointed Chris Atkins as our interim chief during that time. We just exited executive session where we discussed our contract to offer an employment agreement between Brimfield Township Board of Trustees and Police Chief Chris Atkins to start on April 20th, 2026. So I would like to entertain a motion to enter into that agreement and further discussion.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All right, I am excited for this. Chris has been with us for 25 years now. He has acted as interim chief in the past, and this is the next piece for him, and I think it is going to be a great fit for our township. Chris does a great job as captain, and I'm going to be excited to see him move into this position in April as our new Brimfield Township Police Chief. Any comments from the board?
I don't think, from my point of view, I don't think we could have found anybody to be able to fill this position except Chris. He has master's degrees, he's taught in college, he's very, very intelligent, has lots of baggage on him that we can use. And I appreciate so much him being willing to accept this.
And Chris, I think it's a natural fit. I look forward to many years working with you. It's going to be fun. Thank you.
We'll keep you around for a while. All right, if there is no further comments on this, I will entertain a roll call vote to accept the agreement.
All right, Kevin,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
All right, motion passed.
All right, motion passes effective April 20th. Congratulations. All right, now we'll move into our old business. Chief Mosley, you have some updates for
Yeah,
us.
just really one item under, I'm sorry, get the microphone here. One item under old business is, you may have seen a post on our page. We've taken delivery of our new K9 with our handler, Officer Austin Schreckengast, and the name of our dog is Donkey. And there is a story behind that, so if you've seen any of the Shrek films, you know that Shrek and Donkey were best of friends, so Officer Schreckengast has named his K9 Donkey, so they're going to be a good team going forward. Really looking forward to seeing what they do for our township and for our police department going forward. So they'll be starting their 6-week training here shortly. That's the only item I had under old business. I have a couple of items that are going to require board approval under new business. The first item is a 12-month extension of our current towing services agreement with Phil's Towing. There's no changes to any of the terms and conditions of that, but it would just be a 12-month extension of the current agreement we've had in place with them for the past 5 years. And just for a bit of background, the reason we're only asking for a 12-month extension is I want to give the next chief an opportunity to look at towing a little differently going forward, maybe potentially bringing on another company or putting out another RFP in the future. But for now, this gives us a 12-month extension with no changes in terms and conditions with Phil's.
I will entertain a motion to accept a 12-month extension of the current towing agreement with Phil's Towing.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All right, any discussion on this? Okay, hearing none, roll call for acceptance of the extension?
Kevin,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
All right, motion passes.
Thank you. The second item I have for board approval is approval of the position description for police captain and a formal posting of that position.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the position description as submitted for police captain and the posting of that position.
So moved.
I'll second.
And this is, we made some updates to this?
There were a couple of updates made to the position description under the education and some of the training we're looking for as part of that as well. So that'll be open to internal, external candidates will be able to apply for this position.
Okay. Any further questions? Hearing none, roll call for acceptance?
Kevin,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. And one final item, again, related to our previous discussion on this, is I need approval for Brimfield Township to enter into an agreement with the Ohio Association of Chiefs of Police for advertisement and assessment center testing for the position of police captain in the amount of $6,275.
I'll entertain a motion for the approval to enter into the agreement with the Association of Chiefs of Police in the amount of $6,275.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
And this helps with the interview process, the background, how does that work?
Yeah, this will be one component of the process. So basically, be in multiple prongs to this. But the assessment center will be the step that will take place, where we'll have the final group of candidates we look at will be sent through the assessment center with OACP, and after that, the board of trustees and whoever you designate to be part of the interview committee will make the final appointment. But the assessment center will be the piece that will take place prior to that. That'll be a scored and ranked process, and there'll be a comprehensive report that will be generated for those 3 candidates.
Okay. Okay. Any questions? And Jasmine, you're good with that out of the PD budget?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, a portion of that's also going to be for advertisement. We're going to utilize OACP. They're going to put it out for their advertisement that they use, and that'll get blasted out statewide.
Okay, good. All right, roll call for acceptance of the motion.
Kevin,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
motion passes.
And that's all I have for you this evening.
All right. Do we have any questions from the board or department heads for police departments today? Hearing none, we'll move into fire. Fire department does have an executive session scheduled for today. I would like to make a motion to convene into executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, Section 121.22G, for the purposes of considering the following manners: employment. I need a second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Kevin,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick.
Yes.
All right, motion passed.
All right, we are convening executive session, 7:33 PM. Fire chief, police chief, board of trustees, and fiscal officer, please. All right, we are back from executive session at 7:55 PM with no action to be taken at this time. We'll turn it over to Chief for fire department updates.
Yeah, sorry, here, let me get my bearings. On new business, I attended Field High School for Career Day on April 1st. There was about 30 tables set up for the Career Day down at the high school. They shortened it this year from about 8 to noon, but it was good. It was well attended. It was a lot of fun to talk to the kids, so that was good. Number two, we really don't need to talk about today, but I'll bring it up. Next meeting, I'll have paperwork to sign for Life Force billing. It's the use of the Attorney General's office to collect unpaid EMS billing. But I need to do the paperwork. I need to meet with Jasmine first and go over the paperwork, and then I'll bring it back for the board approval. But since we're talking about it right now, since I did bring it up, so what it does, it allows Life Force to go back and collect any billing that was unpaid by non-residents. And on the simple terms, it allows them to, if Nick went out and didn't pay his EMS bill, but he went to the casino and went gambling and you won $5,000, they would take your EMS bill first before you would get your winnings, so we're able to get paid for that. And we wouldn't have to, so that would be one example, and it doesn't cost us anything, so we would get made whole on some of the money that's missing out there from unpaid bills from non-residents. So anyways, I'll have that paperwork to sign, and it's a good thing for us. And then we just kind of discussed in there, and I'll have that for next meeting too, finishing up the entry-level firefighting process. So, but we'll discuss that next meeting also.
All right.
So that's it.
All right, any questions for fire department? No? All right, that's gonna move us into administration. We do have 2 executive sessions for administration today. I would like to move to convene into executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22G for the purposes of considering the following manners: appointment or employment of a public official or employee, and to consider the compensation of a public employee or official. I need a second.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Kevin?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
All right, motion passes.
All right, convening executive session, 7:57 PM. This will be Board of Trustees, Fiscal Officer, and Chief Mosley. All right, we are out of executive session at 8:28 PM. We will move into, with no action at this time, we'll move into our administration piece. Chief Mosley, you have Brimfield Township Library MOU. Any updates there?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I do have a meeting scheduled this Wednesday with representatives from the Portage County Library District. We'll be discussing the current MOU we have with them. And following that meeting, I'll bring an update back to the board on that.
Okay. And then, Kevin, we have you next on the agenda, touch truck. Any updates, anything we need to know there?
I just need to know how many pieces of equipment, trucks and stuff we're looking for.
It's always been the more the merrier. Currently,
Okay.
it's been recycling, the school brought a bus down, road department had all their equipment there, fire police. Dave, am I missing anybody?
Koonsman Tree Service would show up with a bucket truck. Then you would have a few, well, Dan brought a car last year.
Yep.
And, I mean, they're just little odds and ends, yes. Portage County Water Resources used to bring, one year they brought one of their sucker trucks to let the kids see what, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they haven't been out for a while. That'd be a good fit. And then recycling always brings a truck too, because they get some advertising.
Oh, part of us. Part of used to bring a bus too, but I
Okay.
mean, kind of, which, I mean, it's different from a school bus.
Yeah. Well, it helps advertise for some of those
Right.
groups too.
Okay.
But if we can get any other heavy equipment that we don't have, would be nice.
Okay. That's all I have for that.
All right, anything else under that?
Nope.
Property tax payment, township owned partials. So I submitted to Jasmine, we have the whole listing of property taxes, the parcels. And when we went to submit to the state, required that we had the purchase price for those. That purchase price is not maintained by the county. So they wanted us to go through all of our records. The county suggested we just send the deeds down instead. So I've gathered all the deeds for all those properties, the 15 that we're looking for tax abatements on. And then Jasmine's heads forward to that to the county for final review, and then it'll go to the state. So that'll take care of that once we hear back from the state. Field rentals, there's no movement there. Brimfield Soccer Association made their rental. We've not heard back from baseball. I've sent them another text with no response, so that field just sits open. Then we saw the open item of the volunteer parks coordinator. We have sent some information off to the prosecutor's office looking for advice on how we move forward with this. We had some discussions in executive session about this. And I think one of the ideas that is floating out there, I think that would work really well for the community is having a 501c3 that operates separate from the township. And then they bring that 501c3, that board would then bring ideas to the township to say, hey, we want to use your field. And we just have an MOU to use the field or the property or whatever it is for that. We do that already with other nonprofits. We'll advertise for them on our boards. The Kelso House we advertise for.
Food cupboard.
The food cupboard.
Churches.
So instead of having a position in the township and a 501c3, I think the clearest path to make this from a liability standpoint would just be to allow the 501c3 to run their own piece and bring it back to us. I think I recapped that pretty well.
Yes. Yes, you did.
So, and really that was some of the concerns that we got from council too, initially, as we look at options. So I think we just continue to explore that and see if we can get just the 501c3 and have them run any parks programs if they want to. Is there anything else?
Well, when I was involved with the food cupboard, that was the nonprofit. And that was like 8 years of my life. But what we did, we went to the Brimfield Insurance Company here in town, and we had a insurance policy that would cover things for us. And it was all an independent, food cupboard stands independently on its own. And a 503C would be our parks would be standing alone. And it would be operating just like the Lions Club and the other nonprofits that we have here in town. So that would limit the liability that would come on us, but it would still be an investment within our community for all the wonderful things around here that we can do to make people feel like they're part of the community is the parks. The parks is what's going to pull us together.
It'd just be separate from the township.
But it would be separate from the township.
All right. Nothing else on that. We'll go to new business. Chief?
Oh, yeah, just a couple of updates for the board regarding item number one is our community notification system, the Nixle Alert program we've used for the last number of years. For our renewal for 2026, 2027, had some negotiations with Everbridge. We were able to bring that cost down by about 55%. Originally, that was going to be around $6,500. We got that price down to $3,000, so we're going to experience a savings for that for our term coming up for 26 and 27. And item number two is just our employee assistance program with Ease at Work. No increase there. We've kept that price steady since 2023 with no rate increases on that. So just a couple of informational updates for the board.
All right, thank you. And then under board approval, we do need to have a discussion on a liquor permit. We do have a typed new permit from Discount Drug Mart. They filed this back in 2024, but this one has been sent to the Board of Trustees here for 2026. We have to make a decision if we want to request a public hearing or not. And these have to be done in the positive, which means we have to request the hearing. If you don't want to go to the hearing, then the motion would need to fail. That's just how these have to be done for the liquor permits. So I'll entertain a motion to request a hearing for Discount Drug Mart Incorporated C1 new permit here in Brimfield Township.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that request in the hearing. Is there any questions on this?
I would just like to explain something here. As your township grows with the state of Ohio based upon your population, they have all these different liquor permits, and you all know I don't use liquor myself, never have. And so what happens is each category, whether it's a restaurant, if it's a carry-out, if it's an actual liquor store, they're all in different categories. And based upon your population, the liquor board in Columbus, they say, well, you can have so many of these stores, so many of, let's say you can have, example, you can have 10 places in your property, in your township, that you can have a carry-out. So as your population grows, the number of these different types of stores and the way that they give out the liquor, you get more. You just have more. And what happens is we all have to go down to Columbus and have a hearing, and they say, based on your population, we've given you more sites to have these different types of liquor permits. And so based on that, we have yet to ever have anything turned over or denied, being the way their rules are set. And it's unfortunate that that happens, because people have to take responsibility for themselves, and they make the choices as to what they want and what they want to buy. And if they want to buy it, I guess they'll buy it. But at this point, I do not want to make the trip and the expense of going to Columbus and being told no, because all I have to do is look at their records in their computer, and it'll tell me how many different spots. And you can even call them, and they will send you a report of all the different places in Brimfield that you can buy liquor. So that's my opinion. That make sense?
Yes, it is.
That's my opinion. I don't, I guess, you don't know the story that I had an uncle that was a moonshiner down in the hills of West Virginia. And what he would do, his moonshine was so good that the police department guys would even come out. Everybody bought from him. I mean, it was wonderful. So at least with the liquor board in Columbus, we do have some kind of course, that's back in the 30s and 40s, but that still was some way that we can try to control. So have a smile.
All right, we have a motion and a second on the floor to request a hearing for Discount Drug Mart. Roll call to request the meeting.
Kevin,
No.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick,
No.
motion failed.
Jasmine, I'm gonna send this paperwork down to you. You're gonna have to, you'll be the one that signs this and mails it in.
Okay.
Roy needs a copy of it though too. They keep sending those to my house instead of the township. So,
Okay.
he's gonna try to solve that issue for me.
All right.
All right. We also have Parks Liaison. Anything on that, Kevin, or you wanna
Table it.
table it? All right. All right, that will move us, any questions for administration? Hearing none, we'll move into zoning and economic development. Mike Ladd, floor is yours, sir.
Thanks. Permit fees to date, $8,042.85. Our old businesses in the updates, 7 Brews coming to Brimfield. We'll be constructing a new building in Brimfield Commons across from Aldi's. They are at the building permit part of this. Pavlik and Repus Oral Surgery Center on 43 was approved by the BZA. I'm still working with completing the easements going through. The lot split's all good. Villas of Wild Farm, the apartment homes on Town Square Drive continue work in constructing apartments. Several tenants have moved into these finished apartments. The county has approved the public roadway improvements for the TIF. We should see that this year. Woodland Reserve condominium development at 50360 Route 43 continues to construct townhomes and condos. They're selling better now that their price range is adjusted. And also the TIF is nearing completion with that. And then the replats for the condominiums continues. We've been doing those continuously as per the county requirements. A new retail plaza being constructed at Brimfield Crossings across from McDonald's. That's going well. I'll let you guys know as we start getting the tenants in there. And then the Village of St. Edwards Assisted Living Facility continues their work. It looks like their framing is all complete and nearing siding. Menards is installing electrical vehicle charging stations in front of the portion of the lot. Construction is still ongoing with that. Plato's Closet is going into 3975, Cascades Unit 8 and 10. And then also Buffalo Wild Wings is not on this list, but they're actually obtaining their building permits as we speak, and they already have their zoning information. And then I need board approval on new businesses. I'm requesting a 6-month moratorium on data centers, and we gave you a draft resolution to consider. That came from Shalersville. We were directed there from Assistant Prosecutor James Armstrong, so he was comfortable with that.
I would like to make that motion,
Yeah, this motion.
if you need one.
I will entertain a motion to enter into a 6-month moratorium on data centers within Brimfield Township.
I would like to make that motion.
No, second.
So, Mike, this 6-month moratorium is to allow the zoning commission time to continue their research that they've started in looking at how we would manage that moving forward, correct?
Yeah, zoning commission already sent to regional planning to prohibit data centers within Brimfield Township, and it's being held up by the prosecutor's office, seeing if we're allowed to actually prohibit it. If not, then we have to look at ways of coming in with restrictions and where we're going to put it.
And this would give us a moratorium until October 6th, 2026.
And that gives us enough time to run through the process.
Is there a cooling off period for this moratorium?
No, I think it takes effect right away.
Any other questions?
Is there anything on the books?
No, nothing.
Good.
Perfect. All right, we got a motion and a second on the floor to create a 6-month moratorium on data centers here in Brimfield Township until October 6th, 2026. Roll call for acceptance, please.
Kevin,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
motion passed.
And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Questions for zoning? Mike, I just wanted to talk real quick on that TIRC meeting that we went to.
Yeah.
So just to bring the board up, we had our Tax Incentive Review Council meeting. One of the things that I found beneficial and interesting in that, and I'll get copies out to everybody of the reports, is we have about $9 million in payroll that hasn't been activated yet from the Village of St. Edwards and Kenda.
Mhm.
So over 27 and 28, we see another $9 million in payroll coming in, which will then get JED dollars off the backside of that. And that doesn't include additional money for the building improvements.
That's
to the
correct.
backside of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, They're substantial amount, because the way Kenda entered into the township, although they were open last year, they only had admin staff moved over in December, so we won't collect that till 27 now. Now they have staff all moved over.
And that's a big payroll.
Yeah. So,
Yep, should see a good increase.
any other questions for Zone?
Nope.
If not, we will move into road department. Dave, floor's yours, sir.
All right, thanks, Nick. Some old business, we've been cleaning up, trees, branches and all that from, previous storms, trying to get everything off the roadway edges. We patched some potholes, some new business. Starting the week of 4/20/2026, we'll start our 10-hour days, which will be Tuesday through Friday, like we've been doing for the past years. We're still dealing with some water issues from all the rainstorms. I mean, the township took a big, everybody did. It ain't just Brimfield, but everybody took a big hit from all this rain. So we're dealing with some of the issues, cleaning culvert pipes, catch basins, that kind of stuff. Then I need board approval, for the 2026-2027 ODOT road salt bid contract for 1,700 ton. That's what we bidded last year for it. This is just a process to get it moving forward, to put it out to bid for Morton, Cargill, all that stuff with the state of Ohio.
So we don't have prices or anything at this point?
We don't have, yeah, this is just this will pretty much lock you in when it gets here, but this is the best way to get the best price from the salt, so.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the 2026-2027 ODOT road salt bid contract for 1,700 tons.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion on this? All right, roll call?
Kevin,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
motion passed.
Here's the paperwork for the agenda, if you guys could sign it real quick. That'll get back to Kirsten, and then she could get it in with our, rest of our paperwork to the state.
Okay.
Now we're ready to go. That's
When
all.
will we start looking at road project bids? Is that,
Right now, the only thing we have out there is the OPWC, and that won't start until June, July.
okay.
We may have a few other issues that come up before that we may have to, discuss, and then may have to move forward later, earlier than that on some other areas we're having some concerns on some roadways.
Okay. Other questions for road department? All right, thank you, Dave.
All righty.
Cemetery, see if we get something for us.
We have one new bid coming through, or deed, one new deed. And also I need approval, we have our Memorial Day celebration in Restland Cemetery at 8 o'clock on a Monday. And I need approval for $363 to purchase the cemetery flowers for the Memorial Day. And these, we always have done it traditionally to order these flowers from Troop 259 Boy Scouts. We want to continue that and be supportive of that local group.
Entertain a motion to purchase flowers from Troop 259.
I'll make that motion.
Oh, you make the motion?
I'll make
I'll
it.
second it.
All right,
Sorry.
any discussion on it?
No.
All right, roll call.
Kevin,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
motion passes.
Anything else under cemetery?
No.
All right, if not, we'll move into fiscal. Floor's yours.
All right. Let's have a couple things under new business. Wherever I'm at. Oh, there I'm at. First is the county sent over a new amended certificate of estimated resources. So what that basically is how much the county anticipate us receiving in taxes. So that amount has decreased from what they originally anticipated. So I just need this resolution approved for amending our appropriations, which is our expenses, to make sure we are in line with the estimated resources that the county has set forth for us. So there are 3 funds that will be affected, police, ambulance and emergency, and our debt services. And I just need that approved.
I'll entertain a motion to accept the amended appropriation resolution in name only.
Second.
I'll make the motion.
We got a motion and a second.
I second that.
So Jasmine, this just is to balance the budget with the county from what we said we were gonna spend to what we now can spend based on the reduction.
Correct.
What was the estimated total reduction?
For police, $9,033, ambulance and emergency, $1,618, and debt retirement, $7,055.
So it wasn't a substantial piece, but it does affect the budget.
Correct.
Okay. Any questions on this? Hearing none, roll call to accept the resolution.
Kevin,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay.
And second is just a reminder as far as purchase orders go. Whenever we are going to purchase anything, I need a purchase order request at the thought. Not when we receive an invoice, but when you even agree to, whether it's verbal or whatever. I need a purchase order at that moment. So anytime you make that agreement or have set in your mind to plan to spend any funds from your budget, I need a purchase order request at that time. That just helps us eliminate our then and now purchase orders, because right now I'm going back and reviewing purchase orders just to make sure we are in line with auditor expectations. So just keep that in mind moving forward as we purchase items or enter into agreements to spend monies moving forward. Thank you. That's all.
Anybody have questions for fiscal? All right, that moves us into for the good of the Brimfield Township. I know we did this last meeting, so we'll do it again this meeting as we tried it. We will open it up to any public comments. As usual, we ask that you sign in and give you 3 minutes to speak. We need you, I need you to sign in first and then.
Why did you move executive session so special?
Is there any public comments? Okay, hearing none. Anything for the good of the order? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Kevin,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
meeting adjourned, 8:51 PM.
Thank you.